Could I have everybody please rise while we post the colors? Former Congressman Michael McNulty will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for our opening prayer. I believe Ed Nessler is going to read the prayer.
Almighty God, you are the source of our life, strength, and purpose. In your presence alone we find help, hope, and life. Guide us during this hour of fellowship and reflection to be grounded with healing reminder, with your love to all those lives we touch this day. For it is the glory we gather and offer our prayers. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christopher Albert. I'm the Director of Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. We've gathered here this morning to honor deceased Rensselaer County veteran for the month of April, Glen P. Cook. We're honored to have with us this morning many of his family members, including David and Laura Cook, Glenn Cook and Philip McGough, Kathleen Wadsworth, Donald and Nancy Hay, Martin Miller, Eric Cullum, and Mickey and Frank Jenkins. Thank you guys so much for being here. We got very lucky with the weather today. We got a nice day. So I'd also like to mention we have our county executive here, Steve McLaughlin, our Congressman Paul Tonko. Unfortunately, Jake Ashby wasn't able to make it, but I'll present something for him. We have Scott Bendett here from the Assembly, Rensselaer County Legislature Chairwoman Kelly Hoffman, Rensselaer County Legislative Vice Chairman Bob Loveridge, Rensselaer County Sheriff Kyle Bergall. We have Rensselaer County Court Judge Deborah Young. We have Colonel Schultz from the Watervliet Arsenal. Thank you all for being here. We also have many members of the legislature here in addition. So, as we're well aware, Memorial Day and Veterans Day are special days to remember for all of our veterans. And this program was created to help us honor all veterans all year round. And to us here in Rensselaer County, every day is Veterans Day. The Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Program represents veterans organizations throughout the entire county. This includes the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, Veterans of Lansingburg, Military Order of the Purple Heart, the Marine Corps League, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Korean War Veterans, Tri-County Council of Vietnam-era Veterans, Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, Vietnam Veterans of America, AMVETS, the Crab Club, Garrison Post 1954, the Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency, and I'm going to now ask Kelly Hoffman, the Rensselaer County Legislative Chairwoman, to come forward and tell us about our honored Veteran of the Month, Glen P. Cook.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Kelly Hoffman. I'm Chair of the Rensselaer County Legislature, and today is a special day as we gather not only to celebrate the service of an extraordinary veteran, but also to unveil our 2024 Hall of Heroes plaque after this ceremony. We are especially grateful to all the families who have joined us here today for this meaningful occasion. But we are here today to honor and remember the life and service of Sergeant Glen P. Cook, a devoted patriot, proud family man, and lifelong resident of Rensselaer County, whose legacy continues to inspire us. Glen P. Cook was born on April 10, 1917 in Albany to Glen and Elizabeth Cook. He was one of 4 children and grew up right here in East Greenbush with his 3 sisters, Helen, Marion, and Lillian, beginning what would become a lifelong bond in the Capital Region. Glen received his education at the Albany Boys Academy, the oldest day school for boys in New York's Capital Region. From a young age, he was demonstrating discipline, leadership, and civic pride, earning his Eagle Scout badge in 1933 and singing with the Capitol Hill Choral Society. After graduating in 1936, Glen joined the family business, the Glen S. Cook and Son Commercial Photographers, founded by his father in 1913. He became a skilled commercial photographer, earning a respected place in the community through his craft and professionalism. In 1942, as our nation entered World War II, Glen volunteered for service with the Civil Air Patrol, which had just been formed to support the war effort through anti-submarine patrols, military training, courier services, and more. Assigned to Base 2 in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, Glen flew over 700 hours in civilian aircraft on daring patrol missions over the Atlantic. These missions protected vital American shipping routes at a time when German U-boats posed a threat off of the coast. For his heroic efforts, Glen was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the nation's highest honors. Glen had previously attempted to enlist in the Air Force, but was initially rejected due to he wore glasses. Undeterred, he sought out for a second chance. Glen asked to speak to whoever was in charge about getting an exemption, but was told that that person had to leave for the day. Glen said that he would wait all night until they returned. After waiting for the enlistment officer for a while, he was told, and I quote, "I think you're nuts, but if you want to be in the Air Force that much, go ahead." Well, that perseverance paid off in a different way. On October 29, 1942, Glen formally enlisted in the United States Army and entered active duty in March of 1994, serving in the Army Air Forces as a camera technician in the Pacific Theater. He was stationed in Guam, Saipan, and Iwo Jima, where he played a critical role in capturing both still and motion picture images. These were used for military intelligence, documentation, and historical preservation. His work helped document the realities of war and contributed in a meaningful way to the Allied victory. Glen was honorably discharged as a sergeant on June 3, 1946, at Fort Lewis, Washington. His commendations were many and include the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, the American Theater Campaign Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, World War II Victory Medal, Meritorious Unit Award, the Army Air Force Tech Badge with MM pistol and carbine bars, and the Honorable Service Lapel Button. After the war, Glen returned home and married Beatrice Senner on August 12, 1950, at Greenbush Reformed Church. The couple settled in Schodack Center, where they raised 3 sons, Glen, David, and Robert, and continued the family business with the same integrity and excellence that defined Glen's life. Outside of work, Glen's passions included gardening, flying, photography, and playing the organ. He was a member of the Lutheran Church of the Holy Spirit in Albany and gave generously of his time to many civic groups and professional organizations. These included the Wadsworth Masonic Lodge, the East Greenbush Nassau Kiwanis Club, where he was a member for over 50 years, the Quiet Birdmen of the International Pilots Association, the Albany Executive Association, and the Professional Photographers of America, which he joined in 1939. In 1996, at the age of 79, Glen returned to Rehoboth Beach for a Civil Air Patrol reunion. In an interview with the Cape Gazette, Glen recalled the danger those early missions were, and I quote, "Every time you crossed that beach line, you wondered if you would ever come back," end quote. He also remembered seeing a fellow ship crash on one mission, where he was later forced to jettison his bomb at sea to lighten his own aircraft and return safely. So with some research, thank you to Harry, we actually found that original article from the Cape Gazette from October of 1996 and have copies for the family. Want to hold those, Bob? Sadly, Glen passed away on February 9th, 2004, leaving behind a legacy of courage, commitment, and community service. He is lovingly remembered by his wife Beatrice, his sons Glen, David, and Robert, and his grandchildren April, Kimber, Elizabeth, Glen, and Dana. He now rests in East Greenbush Cemetery, close to the home and the people he loved so deeply. Today, the Rensselaer County Legislature proudly and gratefully recognizes Sergeant Glen P. Cook, a true American hero. His life reflects the very best of what it means to serve, with honor, heart, and humility. We thank Glen for the service to our great nation, and we thank all of you, his family and friends, for being here with us today and allowing us to remember and honor him. I'd like to ask any of the other legislators if they'd like to say something. I know Tom Grant would like to do that, and Dan?
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Glen Cook's career and his family legacy beyond him has chronicled the history of this entire region, most specifically southern Rensselaer County, East Greenbush area. For a while, you couldn't pick up a newspaper without having a photograph by Mr. Cook in there. He's chronicled the good days, the bad days, the days in between. You go into houses in East Greenbush and you go through some of the photo albums of the people of the town, and you'll find, by and large, a photo from Glen Cook or one of his family members who's taken the photo. His legacy is enduring and everlasting, not just in his work, but in his history of community service to our region. And again, his family, his descendants behind him have continued that legacy. So God bless to Glen Cook and his family. Thank you for allowing us to honor him in this manner today. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kelly.
Sure. Dan, you want to say something? Okay. What's that? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm now going to ask the Rensselaer County Executive, Steve McLaughlin, to come forward.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone. It's a big crowd here today. It's nice to see, and thank you for all joining us here today. Congressman McNulty's with us here. He started these many years ago. They've been duplicated in other counties, but I think Rensselaer County was the original effort here, and other counties have picked that up, which is fantastic. Colonel Schultz is here from Watervliet Arsenal. Glad to have him here, and then all of our colleagues in federal and local government. But what a great story. Hear Glen's story here, and clearly he had love of photography and flying, and anybody that loves flying is I have a kinship with as well. But and I know what the QBs are. A lot of people wouldn't know what quiet bourbon are, but QBs, as they're called, certainly know what they are. And you know, what a great life. Enlisted volunteered like so many of that generation did, stepped up and served the country. And he was in some danger there off the coast because those U-boats were patrolling the coast. They were a danger to shipping lanes and to the country during that time. And I'm not sure if our civil air patrols were armed. I doubt they were. So he was in some pretty dangerous situations there. And then certainly over in theater in Iwo Jima, he was in danger as well. So did his job in a great way, and then came home and raised a family and did a great job. And as Tom said, a legacy of all those photographs. And we've all seen those newsreel footage and historic films. And that was state of the art at the time. You think about now we have GPS and satellite and drones and everything else, but back then he was state of the art. Filming those and the photography that he did was a big part of our intelligence operation to see what was going on with the enemy, as well as with our own ships and troops. So he did his job very well, and then came back home and did his job here as a valued member of Rensselaer County. So thank you for letting us honor him here today. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to ask Congressman Paul Tonko to please come forward.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for your service to the veterans of Rensselaer County. Always a cherished opportunity to say thank you to those who have donned the uniform and served our nation and the world as a beacon of hope for freedom-loving people around the world. And listening to the comments of Kelly, as she highlighted through the biographical expressions of this great individual, and having talked to the family, the word wholesome comes to mind. A person who lived his life with great principles and is a premier example of the greatest generation. But his service to the country obviously came first through volunteering with the Citizens Air Patrol, and then a staunch determination to serve in the military. And you have to appreciate and respect that. His work as a camera technician in World War II through the Army is indeed a great value added. Obviously, his talents, his skills, his undeniable sense of patriotism enabled the documentation of all of the activities of the military, assisted in many ways in providing for the planning and training elements so as to be a victorious force, a military force, because of his capturing not only through aerial photography and the absolute photographs, still and movies, to be able to alert the military team as to just how to execute their next moves. And with that, there was also a very strong opportunity to communicate to the public, to update them and be transparent about the activities that were taking place, and of course, chronicling all of that for history's sake. So a great service well beyond the battlefield, and so we're most appreciative. I do thank Congressman McNulty for planting the seed. Thank you, Mike, for enabling us to have these ceremonies, to rightfully express our thanks, and to understand that from small towns and metro areas alike, across the landscape of America came heroes, ordinary people doing extraordinary things in the military to enable us to maintain that precious sense of opportunities and values that we see as Americans. And to join with my colleagues in government, with active military, thank you, Colonel Schultz, for your work with the Watervliet Arsenal, and our veterans, to say thank you. And we appreciate the family allowing us to do this. David, it's an honor to recognize your dad and all of the family members, to pay tribute to him. It also is always very striking to see how, when they came back from service in uniform, they would continue that effort in community. And his work as a professional through the family business, through the, was it the Glen Cook Photography Organization? You know, just capturing again his moments of photography that through his professional lens, his professional eye, being able to provide a great legacy. So thank you for sharing with me that he was active with the Masons and the Kiwanis organization, and having that perfect 50-year record of attendance. We have to insert that in the record here this morning. So my thanks, my humble thanks, and in order to appropriately memorialize him, to pay tribute to him, and to show respect, I asked, along with my colleague, Josh Riley, Congressman Riley, to fly a flag over our nation's capital in tribute, in honor, and memory of our hero of this month, Glen P. Cook. And we thank him for his service and his absolute love of faith and family that penetrated deeply and serves as a lasting inspiration to all who knew and loved him. My hope, my prayer is he rests in peace in the arms of his Creator. Thank you, one and all. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, Senator Ashby can't be with us this morning, but I have a proclamation here I'm going to present on his behalf. He always says some nice things here, and it's always family, friends, and faith that get us through the hard times. And in the military, it's your fellow soldiers, Marines, and airmen that get you through the hard times. And I'm just going to submit this on Jake's behalf. Now going to ask Assemblyman Scott Bendet to come forward.
Wow, what a life, huh? A couple of months ago, we had somebody here who was also had some photography experience in the war, and we learned quite a bit about that. Things that I learned that I didn't know. See, I grew up with a couple of grandpas that were in World War II that were there for quite a while, but they never talked about it. So a lot of my experience in the military, unlike Senator Ashby or Chris or Colonel Schultz, is basically from watching TV and movies. And now when I see the TV and movies and I see some of those reels, I'm going to wonder if Mr. Cook was involved in that, because it's really fascinating to me. I think that people have in them the desire to help other people. And I think that your father, grandfather, great-grandfather had that same sense of service. I mean, he obviously wanted to join the Civil Air Patrol, and then after joining that, and in my mind, as I'm sitting there, I always imagine stuff. My mind's always working, and I'm thinking like his parents talked him into going into that route as maybe more of a safety route. And then once he was in there, he was like, heck, I want to be in the war. I want to be in this thing. And so that's what I think happened, but I don't know. I can't turn back the clock. But that's what happens to me sometimes. But I just think that this was amazing. And I love how when he came back, he joined Kiwanis for 53 years. I always joke around that when I quit this job, that's what I want to do, is join Kiwanis and help my community. So I think he just had it in his blood to try and help people and be a part of his community, and he really was an epic person, obviously. So on behalf of myself, my colleague John T. McDonald III, I'd like to give you guys this citation on behalf of all 19.5 million people in New York State. Thank you. Thank you.
Now going to ask Colonel Schultz, the commander of the Watervliet Arsenal, to please come forward.
So good morning, Congressman Tonko, former Congressman McNulty, distinguished leaders, representatives, and especially the family of Mr. Glen Cook. Hey, it's always a privilege to get to come out and represent our hardworking professionals over at Watervliet Arsenal and our Army, honestly, as we honor the service of our veterans, particularly Mr. Cook this morning. And what can you really say about the impact of someone such as Mr. Cook other than well done, right? The Air Force is derived from the Army, so I chose some Air Force things this morning here. And the Air Force describes its core values as integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all they do. Values that are absolutely evident in the lived experience of Mr. Cook. Whether flying with the Civil Air Patrol or Army Air Force, operating his own business as a photographer, or serving in numerous organizations, he embodied and modeled those values and set the example that inspires us still today. That service comes in many forms, and it includes membership in community organizations, as an elected representative of our people, or even as one of our dedicated artisans over at the Arsenal. But it's especially true of those who service in uniform and our veterans. And so while Mr. Cook may have flown into the wild blue yonder, it is an honor to recognize his service to the community and to our proud nation, particularly for a veteran who chose to aim high and soared in all he did. So with that, please accept this small and inadequate token of our appreciation and recognition of him this morning, both in and out of uniform. Thank you.
I now have Tim Forbes, P.J. Higgett, Jean Leparco, Joe Simonek from the Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Committee here, and they will present the committee plaque at this time. Will the committee members please stand?
On behalf of the Honor Deceased Veteran Committee, the citizens of Rensselaer County, and all of the veterans here assembled, please accept this plaque as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's service, and everything they said is so true. Thank you all for allowing us to honor that.
On behalf of the family, thank you for what you're doing.
Don't forget that application.
So after about 22 years in the Army National Guard, don't tell Colonel Schultz, but I wish I had joined the Air Force. Guys, we're going to retire the colors. Please stand. Thank you, guys. If everybody could just remain standing, we're going to actually unveil our 2024 honorees. And we're going to have Kelly Hoffman and the executive, Steve McLaughlin, do that for us while we have everybody here. And then we'll stick around and take some photos.
You all can be seated. I want to make sure all the family members who were outside are now invited inside. It looks like there were some folks out there. And there's seats. Please come in and sit down. There's seats over here, up at one of the desks here in the chamber. Come on up. Come right up through the gate. Come on through. Here, will you open up that gate and have people come up and sit down? Thank you. So many family members here today, which is great to see.
Everybody else?
All right. I think we've got everybody. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelly Hoffman, Chair of the Legislature. Recognize many of you from this past year. We welcome you back to the Legislative Chamber for our annual Rensselaer County Honor a Deceased Veterans Hall of Heroes unveiling ceremony. I also want to just mention, we do have some of our legislators here, Legislator Grant, Casal, Weaver, Gillespie, and Fleming, who are with us today. I'd also like to ask Ed Nessler, who's one of our committee folks, to stand and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated. Each April, we unveil a new plaque containing the names of our deceased veterans who were honored during the previous calendar year. With the addition of the names being added to this year's plaque, we have 357 names of veterans from Rensselaer County who will always be remembered, not only today, but every day for their brave service to our nation. And as our great county executive says, every day is Veterans Day in Rensselaer County. I'd like to acknowledge and give special thanks to the Rensselaer County Deceased Honor a Vet Committee for all of their hard work and for making our monthly ceremony happen. The members included Nessler, Jean Laporco, John Rattano, P.J. Higgett, Joe Simonik, Tim Forbes, Lonnie Warrington, and Chris Albert. This is a culmination of a full year's work, and a lot of effort is put into these ceremonies each month. And I'd like to thank them and everybody who's made this event special, especially Harry Tatunjan, Shelby Fenton, and Ginny Bott. I want to thank our elected officials for always being here for us and to support this program. As Steve mentioned earlier, I'd like to acknowledge Congressman Mike McNulty for starting the Deceased Honor a Veterans ceremony so many years ago. So thank you, Mike, for your service and your dedication to our veterans. So for the very first time this year, we're holding our unveiling ceremony without the person who really contributed so much to making this event happen. All the names on the wall that you see are there because of their service. But I know Tom Walsh, who was a former legislator and a lieutenant colonel, is with us here today in spirit. This is our first event of the unveiling without him. And I know he's watching over us. I know he's grateful that we will continue to do this tradition. And it's fitting next month that we will be honoring Lieutenant Colonel Tom Walsh, as we have so many of your family members over the past year. So thank you to Tom and his family, but especially to Tom for everything he's done for our veterans. I want to recognize our Veterans Services Department for the help that they provide each and every day to our veterans. Thank you to Lonnie and to Chris for all the work that you do. Our county executive, Steve McLaughlin, and members of this legislature strongly support the veteran services in this county. And you can see as you drove in, the beautiful memorial park that we have out in front, that we've never had anything like this in the county, and this is a direct project that Steve had talked about when he was running, seems like 1,000 years ago, and he brought that to fruition out in front, and it's absolutely stunning. So I know most of you have seen that when we've honored your family member in the past couple of months. But to our special guest, it's you, the family and friends of our veterans in the Hall of Heroes. Thank you once again for allowing us to honor them in a very special way. The men and women whose names will be read today are the absolute essence of what we mean when we pledge allegiance to the flag. They are what makes America the greatest country of all countries. I'd like to begin with the reading of the names of our inductees, and then we will have the plaque unveiling, followed by some photos that we still have to do, and then we'll proceed to the Memorial Park outside for the raising of the flag. The name of our 2024 inductees are Private First Class James F. Plog, Sr. Yeoman Third Class Pasquale F. Kinsella. Private First Class Joseph F. Moore. Shipfitter First Class Thomas W. Killian. Captain Frank L. Ciccarelli. Staff Sergeant Carmen J. Ciccarelli. Staff Sergeant James Kelly. Chief Yeoman Acting Francis Kelly. Chief Petty Officer William Kelly. Radioman First Class Donald Kelly. Seaman Charles J. Kelly. Technical Sergeant Robert Kelly. Airman Second Class George Kelly. Quite a family. Seaman First Class Francis A. Pichet. First Sergeant Donald E. Yetman. Seaman John F. Feltz. Specialist 5 Michael A. DeBonis. Corporal Kenneth M. Wilson. And finally, Corporal Warren J. Winnie, Sr. Thank you so much for allowing us to honor your loved ones again this month. We will now be joined over at the Hall of Heroes, where we'll do the unveiling, and then after we'll take some photos. Please feel free to take some pictures of the plaque of your family members and join us as we do our unveiling. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll get everybody in the middle of this time. Mark, why don't we get the legislative?
Stand by Dan. So that's right, folks. Stand by Dan.
I'll just take the legislative officials now, and then we'll invite Congressman Taco and the other elected officials. Okay, you're all looking, yeah, here's the center, you wanna come in here? No. Okay. All right, looking at me, okay, go ahead, whoever else. Congressman Taco, would you please come in? And we're Scott, New York Assembly. And, Mike Hickville, after all, and you're gonna love and hug everybody. Okay, close. Four guys. We'll just take a step back.
Come up here, Mike.
And we're just moving a little bit slow. You're fine. Okay, you're fine. I'll take it. And then you go ahead and do it. Here we go. And we'll take this picture. This one counts. I said. No, stay safe. Thank you all. Now we're the family of today.
All right, thank you, guys. This concludes our honor of that ceremony for this month. Thank you for coming to honor our deceased veterans for the month. We're going to have the family stay and take some family photos here up front. Please join us on May the 12th for our next honor of vet ceremony. Before we go our separate ways, we have photos up front with the family. And then we're going to reassemble outside by the flagpole to raise the flag in Glen's memory. Thank you again. Yep. I will take everybody up front for photos with the family, please. And then Gene Leparco wanted me to just mention one thing. We still have some seats available if there's any veterans out in the crowd here for the Patriot flight on April the 23rd. It's to Washington, D.C., where we have some seats available for the flight. Gene's right here if you need to talk to Gene. Thank you, folks. If anyone would like to join us outside to raise the flag, we'd appreciate it. Thank you, sir. A little less nervous this time.